What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name's Mike, aka the UK Urban Prepper. I'm by no means a prepping expert. There is people that are much more qualified than me, and there's people that are much less qualified than me. But I've helped build this community that's full of people from all them types of genres, whether they are full-on survivalists to brand new preppers. And we've built this community and we've learned a lot of things together along the way. Now, if you're finding this video, potentially you've just suffered power outages because of the storm, or you've seen people that have, or it's just made you think about prepping in a different light. Because yes, we've had a reputation in the past of super tinfoil hat conspiracy people and thinking it's all doom and gloom. And worst one is obviously The Walking Dead. We're all walking around thinking we're Rick Grimes, but we're not. That's not what prepping's all about. Not at this level anyway. It's all about just being ready for the unexpected. That could be personal circumstances. That could be global circumstances. It could be anything. The storm that's hit us, you could be without power for a week. You may have been without power for a length of time or suffered damage to the building and had to evacuate. All these things are encompassed in being a prepper and making that transition or that adjustment easier. So you're just starting on the journey of emergency preparedness and you're feeling your way around. Now, what you're going to come across is lots of people showing you DPM this, DPM that, bug out bags, tents, EDCs, and what's the best kind of knife you can carry. But this is the advanced stuff, the bushcrafty style stuff and things like that. What you need to be looking at, number one, is just your immediate environment. The very basics that we should be doing that most businesses will do by default. For example, fire safety. Do you have fire extinguishers? Do you have an escape plan? Things like that. Okay. And then medication and first aid is another one. You might already have a box of plasters and stuff and creams and medications under the sink or up on a shelf somewhere. You're already starting. That is already part of it. Now, prepping is just taking that to the next level. We've all seen situations in recent times of supermarkets restricting what we can buy, supermarkets not being available because of power outages. And if you're living day by day with a week's worth of food or a couple of days worth of food in your cupboards and in your fridge, then a few days of that and you're going to start to struggle. So this is what prepping is all about for me, and it's about maintaining a lifestyle always. Don't be daunted and scared by the super preppers that are out there or the extreme tinfoil hat conspiracy fearmongers that are out there. Sometimes these guys have some useful information and even have some intelligence and some tips and stuff like that. And it's good to keep on top of the news that is not controlled by the mainstream media. So I'm not saying avoid these channels totally, but try not to get sucked into the trap of the fearmongers. I've been accused of being a fearmonger. No, I will bring you news. I will tell you if something's going to immediately affect us, like the storm, like when we have big threats from solar flares and things like that. I will tell you the news and I will go on and say that, but it's not every little thing which some channels do. So anyway, make sure you're moderating what you're watching and you're taking everything with a pinch of salt. And we say about everything, do your own research, okay? Because some people on here and on other platforms will have insane ideas of what's going to happen in the next 5 years, next 5 months, etc. You've got to really gauge that for yourself. It's very easy to get suckered in by these people, especially when they give you 3 or 4 theories and one actually comes to fruition. Suddenly they're building this reputation of, oh, he got that right, so he must be right about everything else. So just be careful on that one. Now, for you starting out, brand new, what do you need to look at? Well, what do you do to live? What do you need to live? Water, food, obviously air. So it depends what threat you're thinking of. If you need to get gas masks and things because you're worried about fallout and things like that, or biochemical stuff, go ahead. That's what you want to do. But for everything else, we're looking at heat, water, food. That's about it. Shelter. Okay. So let's say we're sheltering in place. You're going to bug in. That's the immediate plan, because for most people, that will be what you do in the UK. If it's something that threatens us for a week, like a week of really bad weather, or something that threatens us for longer, like a really long power cut, it's staying indoors that's key to not only our survival, but our safety. Because people that are desperate and are going to be out and about looking for anything they can, potentially looting and causing trouble. And that's the kind of thing, as preppers, we want to avoid. We're not far right crazy people who are going to be out there looting. That's not going to be us, because we're prepared not to do that. It's the unprepared that will be doing that. For you, you need to get water. So you could start with bottled water, things like that. But ideally, you need a way to filter and clean water. Multiple options for that. I will, at the end of this video, when I publish it, put several links below. Actually, I'll probably just put the main link to my Amazon shop, and that has categories that says bugging in, bugging out. And there's a few ideas on there of stuff you can get. Now, yes, these are affiliate links. I will be open and honest about that. You do not have to use them. Use it as a reference. You might be able to pick up some of these things pre-owned, eBay, second-hand shops, whatever. That's entirely up to you. But use that as a guide. Water, not just bottled water and storage for an emergency, but ways to filter it, ways to clean it, ways to collect it, and where you're going to collect it from. A plan. Everything you do has to have a plan. Food, similar sort of thing. So for short term, for a week, for 2 weeks, you should have enough canned food that you're willing to eat, not something you look at and think that's disgusting, but I'll put it on the shelf for an emergency. You need to be willing to eat it. So food that you eat, ideally stuff you already eat, so you can rotate your stock so it doesn't go out of date. You can stock canned food. There is loads of options when it comes to prepper food. Freeze-dried is quite popular for people that don't have much space. You get these big buckets, 60-odd meals, etc. My advice would be, if they do a sample pack, which some of them do, order that and taste it. If you can't eat it, it's no good spending 180, 190 pounds on a bucket of the stuff. But shelf-stable foods are everywhere, and there's means to make foods shelf-stable yourself. Right now, I'm in the process of salting my own meat to test that as a preservation method that I can use, something that's been done for a very long time. So there's all sorts of ways, but shelf stability is key. When you're starting out, just get £5, £10, £20, whatever you can spare. Get that shopping on top of your regular weekly or monthly shop and start to build a pantry. Bulk foods that can bulk out and sustain you for a long time, things like rice and pasta. There's alternate ways of storing these rather than just in the packets, and you can vacuum seal them. You can put them into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, and we've got videos on all of that stuff. So have many other channels on the YouTube. One of the best things about this channel here, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but we've talked to a lot of different preppers from lots of different circles. So if you go through the Prepper Podcast or the Prepper's Fireside, you won't just find me, but you'll find many other people, many other channels that can advise you in different ways. Food and water are key. Once you've got food and water basics, you need to think about shelter and warmth, because if your heating goes off, you've no central heating, you need an alternative way of heating yourself. You need to look at methods of heating you and not a giant room. So the smaller area you have to heat, the better. And you have to look at contingencies with and without power. Okay, so just think about that and take that on board when it comes to heating yourself. I've got candles, I've got gas heaters, you can get diesel generators and stuff like that. There's all sorts of different ways you can heat yourself through a power cut, especially if it comes to winter. Another food option that you'll see a lot of prepper channels on is MREs, meals ready to eat, and these are basically military style ration foods. Often you can eat them cold straight out the bag if you really had to, but usually you put the bag into boiling water to heat them up, or you've got something called a FRH, which is a flameless ration heater, which is a chemical reaction which heats up a bag what your ration goes in. So there's different ways of doing that. I prefer old school little hexy stove, boiling water in a mess tin and pop it into there. But these are great. They are long term, but not really long term. So you've got to think canned foods last a long time. They go past, most of the time, they go past the sell by date, long past the sell by date. They lose nutritional value and they lose taste, colour, and quality the longer it goes on, but still quite edible. What I would say on this front is trust your senses. If you open something and it looks funky, it smells funky, it's probably funky, and we don't like funky things on this channel. Then you've got your dried foods like your pastas and rices. These can last a lifetime. We put a sell-by date in this country on rice, and in other countries, it gets more expensive the older it is. So that is a form of madness we have over here. But with these things, again, often it's the packaging you get it from the supermarket in that is often very flawed for storage, for everything else like that. So really do look at repackaging these things. Whether you've got something like me where it's a giant barrel that you could fill and then seal that up with the oxygen absorbers inside, that's a great way of doing it. Or you can compact it in individual portions depending on how you're going to use it in a hit the fan scenario. I've done a terminologies video for anyone new to prepping. I'll pop that up here now, and that is just basically the things I might say like SHTF, Teotihuacan, things like that, and it just tells you a bit more about that. So if you're new to the community completely, go and check that out as well. So food, water, warmth, shelter, these are the key things that you're starting out with. After that, every prepper will take you in a completely different direction, okay? They might say, I'm prepping for World War III and nuclear war. That's one set of preps. They might say, I'm prepping for a complete grid down situation. That's another set of preps. And you can follow either one of these paths, but that core at the center of your water, your food, your shelter, your warmth is always going to remain the same. So that is the core you need to work on, and then start to build out from that. One of the other good things everyone should have is a bug out bag. Now, a bug out bag can be read by a lot of channels as I'm going to live in the woods like Rambo forever. Now, not really possible in this country. If you think it is, you might be kidding yourself. Some people think so, some people don't. It depends on your school of thought on that. However, we've not got the vast wilderness that a lot of countries have got to bug out to. So therefore, there's a chance you're going to come across 10, 20, 30 people in the direction you're bugging out. No, but what you do need a bug out bag for is what we're seeing all over the world today. Fires in Los Angeles. They've got to get out of the house. They've got to be evacuated. To have that bag of everything you need is an absolute asset in any situation like that. At any point, you can be torn away from all your preps in your house, your fully stable, prepared environment, because the area just becomes unsafe. So a grab bag, a bug out bag is essential for everyone to have in a nice, easy, quick place, because the last thing you want to be doing is panicked packing when you should be getting out. Again, I've got videos on this. Other people have got loads of videos on this. So that's all I wanted to say, and this is mainly for any new preppers coming through. Engage with the community. We don't care if you've never prepped before, if you're a fully experienced prepper, engage with our community. Links are below for the Discord. The Discord is a public area, so anyone can chat in there. We also have a Prepper Network private area, which you can join by joining through the channel, but that's entirely up to you. There's still loads of helpful advice and loads of people that you can ask questions of in the public area. And we don't discriminate against anyone for that. Community is key. Lone wolves cannot survive. You have to sleep. it makes no sense to be alone if you can have a community around you. So if you are new, welcome. Smash the subscribe button. Loads of information on this channel, but not just that, we link out and we network with so many other channels, and we meet people in person as well. It's a great place to learn things, not just for you, for me. I'm learning every single day with the people on this community. Hit the like button, leave a comment below, and I'll see you all in another video really soon. Goodbye.